All right, sir. Thanks for letting me pop in today. Going to be getting you back out to Iowa here real soon.
Sounds good.
Really have something really fun and planned. Have something real fun planned. Who dat?
Yes.
Did you get this text?
No.
Trump just got shot on live TV in
Who?
Milwaukee.
Trump just got shot on live TV.
Welcome back to the channel, Den members. Welcome to our next installment in Bullet Points. It is now August, and we're officially deeming Bullet Points a bi-monthly podcast. This is where we talk all things 2A, all things conservative, whatever really just tickles our fancy. That sounds awkward, and I don't care because we're going to go with it. You know, we really just do this when there are things of note, and my gosh, has a lot of defecation hit the oscillation in the last couple weeks. I called it out in, I think it was last week's video. Can we all just calm down and just stop for a moment? But Aaron, I'm not going to get into that because my ADD is in high def mode. You are in charge tonight to keep us on track. What do you got for us?
So, we've got a lot of big things that have happened in the last 2 months or so. Not least among them was the Trump assassination attempt. Next, the ATF is getting screwed by the Supreme Court, and we are here for it. So, we're going to be talking all things bump stocks, forced reset triggers, pistol braces, and not least among them, Chevron Deference. Adios and good riddance.
So we're going to get right into it. Actually, before we do, let's just have a little bit of a shoot the bull. Excuse me, I'm getting a little unfiltered. My little heart just can't take it anymore this year. Aaron, what are you drinking tonight? Water or something stronger?
I'm just drinking a little bit of Coors in my America tumbler here. The only thing that's missing is former President Trump pumping his fist in the air saying fight, fight, fight. But that tumbler may be coming later on down the road. We'll see.
I'm going a little heavier. I am drinking some Rabbit Hole Derringer.
Okay.
This is one that discovered at a liquor store here recently. Very sweet. It's aged in sherry casks.
Oh, interesting.
Casks, not caskets.
Yeah, that could be bad.
I know what I'm trying to say. Tastes like sweet and sour death. But Rabbit Hole has a lot of different levels of bourbons. They're kind of like, you know, any bourbon or scotch or whiskey that has a whole line of things. But the Derringer, I think it's like a $60 or $70 bottle for $7.50.
All right.
It's very sweet for a bourbon. I've been enjoying it. It's almost gone. I've just loaded the last of it into my new pistol decanter.
That's what you got in there. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't want to put anything too special in
You know,
it
it'd be really
because
funny is if your pistol decanter was a Derringer.
I need to find a new co-host because this co-host keeps stealing my material. Anyway, welcome back to Bullet Points. We've been just, again, experimenting with just the frequency of uploading these. The summer has been absolutely insane, and scheduling has been a nightmare, but in 3 weeks, we have one of the biggest events that we have had since the inception and start of the Phantom Llama's Den, as you see it now. We are having our very first Super Llama Ranch Range Day. It is going to be incredible. We are looking forward to it. We are going to have so much content coming out of this. I think I've got 3, 4, maybe even 5 videos planned. We are going to have to bust our asses on this. Stick around. You're gonna definitely want to be subscribed to the Phantom Llama's Den. We have some really fun stuff. I've noticed some of our older videos, especially the Temu bought body armor videos, picking back up. Really cool to see. We have a follow-up coming, and I don't think it's going to be as much of a disappointment as that 3A helmet that we demolished. Just want to thank everyone for your support. You have been incredible. YouTube's been doing some weird stuff to all the gun channels lately,
Yes, they
between
have.
monetization and age restricting, and we haven't been immune to that, even at our very small level. But the support that we've been seeing is amazing. We have a winner for the Core Essentials gun belt. We have reached out to them, and we will be doing a pseudo reveal announcement here in the very near future. Now, for everyone that didn't win this giveaway, don't worry. We are going to have a lot more future opportunities to win a giveaway on the channel. We're not going to be promising anything every month, even every 2 months, but we are going to be trying to get one out every so often, as much as we can. I personally would love to get to the point where we can do a bi-monthly giveaway. All right, Aaron, I am engaged in work avoidance here because I really, it's been oversaturated, but we got to talk about it. So why don't you kick this thing off? Let's go. Come on.
All right. Well, our first shot, and I don't mean any pun intended, but we're going to be talking about the Trump assassination attempt, which was a doozy, to say the least.
Can I first say, before we get into this, because I don't know what you have planned, the memes that have come out of this have been brilliant.
And the
Brandon
slopey
Herrera.
roofs, man. The slopey roofs are everywhere. It's a great deterrent if you want to keep the feds out of your property. Just put some nice little wheelchair ramps or something out in front of the doors and windows. You're safe forever.
Thank you so much to Angry Cops and Brandon Herrera for the compilation of all the memes. One of my favorites, if not my favorite, is the one of if CNN had covered the JFK assassination. JFK fell really hard.
July 13th, 2024 is another day that will live in infamy for decades to come.
Unless Google and the left has its way.
Elon Musk is kind of championing the freedom of speech and fixing all the egregious missteps of different search engines, seeming to kind of bury it. July 13th.
Nope. We are not. We aren't naming him.
A shooter fired allegedly 8 shots in the direction of former President Trump. One of them striking his right ear, and despite what many are saying, it would not cause extreme deformation of his face and a concussion. We've seen what a 223 round will do to. It was a 223 round, right?
Yeah, or 5.56, but same difference. Minutia.
He got a nice little piercing from Claire's, it looks like. Boy, did shit just kind of roll downhill from there in terms of what we discovered about this entire situation. From lapses in communication to... I was reading an article that talked about the fact that the Beaver County Sheriff's Office SWAT team was supposed to have a face-to-face meeting and a briefing with the Secret Service prior to the event. And allegedly that face-to-face with the Secret Service never occurred. Not to mention that the SWAT team, or a SWAT team, was stationed in the building under the roof on top of which the shooter was laying.
And those text messages that just got leaked out in the last 24 hours at time of recording, that... basically, there's a conversation about this guy that they saw, and one of them says, yeah, I saw him with a rangefinder.
There were photos of him taken up to 90 minutes prior to the incident. Multiple officers, I guess, were looking for this suspicious party that was seen sitting at a picnic table with a backpack and allegedly a rangefinder. And then, he moves around and law enforcement are following him, whatever. I've seen reports that allegedly an officer or a deputy or some sort of law enforcement
up on the roof,
attempted to make contact with him on the roof by climbing the ladder or standing on the shoulders of another. I don't know the details of exactly what happened, but an officer attempted to make contact with him to address the situation, and allegedly the shooter turned around and pointed his rifle at the officer. At which point he either fell down off of the ladder, shoulders, whatever, or he retreated down the ladder. We don't have definitive statements as to exactly what happened. We just know the officer did not continue to attempt to engage at that point. We don't know, whether something was sent out over their radios. We don't know what agencies were communicating with other agencies or if they were tapped in together on the same channels. We don't know.
There was a very brief stint where there was a lot of critical commentary on that officer, if that's true. Now, Aaron, as a person who has an enthusiast level of tactical training, 88 tactical and whatnot, if you are going up a ladder and somebody has a rifle trained on you, what is your initial response? And you aren't going to be that well braced to be able to draw.
No.
Or if you have a rifle, let alone maneuver a rifle over the top of the ladder.
Right. I'd attempt to draw, but the first thing I'd be doing is I'd be calling this out to all the other cops in the area. And again, we don't have any radio traffic available to us as far as I know. It seems like there were multiple opportunities for the Secret Service to be made aware of this individual. The Secret Service team there was allegedly somewhat of a skeleton crew, and they were being supplemented by Homeland Security. The infamous,
one really awkward woman.
The infamous female that had trouble reholstering her firearm when she was standing next to the beast, and just kind of looked, to be honest, somewhat clueless standing up there and next to the car. And then again at the hospital, if you've seen that video is just grossly awful. She's not even Secret Service. She's Homeland Security.
Pulled out of the ditch to fill in a gap because Cheadle didn't want to waste her manpower because they're too busy protecting Sleepy Joe, Obama, and whoever else wants Secret Service, as opposed to the person that the Homeland Security said, Trump shouldn't get Secret Service protection anymore.
They were trying to pass legislation to say that people with felony convictions that have previously been protected by the Secret Service would no longer be eligible to be protected by Secret Service.
Yep. And it's
that doesn't seem directed at anyone in particular.
No, not at all.
I want to talk a little bit about the two, I would call them probably counter snipers. The first shot rings out and you actually see the counter snipers, at least one of them, if not both of them, come off of their rifles. Like they are looking down their scopes and they come off the scope and then they retarget and realign themselves on the scope to address the threat. I was listening to, I don't know if you're familiar with the Jesse Kelly show. He's a political commentator. He did a little segment on the Trump assassination attempt, and he had a professional counter sniper on his show who talked about the surrealism of looking down a scope and how you get such tunnel vision. And when you hear that shot ring out and you're looking down a scope, your body's first reaction is, well, I need to get away from the scope so I can observe what's actually happening. Because what I see happening in the scope may not be what's actually happening. So I need to observe it with my own eyes.
And that's exactly what we saw, because he's on it, away, back, shot fired.
Yeah, your body just wants to observe it firsthand because it feels that you aren't when you're looking down that scope. So that was just an interesting perspective that I had never thought of before.
They're also probably having to do like a double check just because, imagine, I know this sounds bad, but imagine their asses being on the line.
Oh yeah, there were dozens of opportunities for this guy to be taken out.
This is why Cheadle is no longer the director of the Secret Service. Hell has frozen over. Do you know why, Aaron?
Many reasons, but what's your reason?
Because for the very first time since she took office, I find myself agreeing with AOC.
Oh?
She participated in the grilling of Cheadle.
Okay.
And she at one point just starts asking point blank, if we know that the AR-15 is the most popular semi-automatic rifle in the United States. Sorry, I just realized my door was open. And she then asks if we know that the AR-15 has a maximum effective range of 400 to 600 yards, why were precautions not taken to secure a radius around Donald Trump of 400 to 600 yards or greater? And I'm just here like, my gosh, she actually gets it for a change.
The former director of the Secret Service, Director Cheadle, was shoving the blame off on literally everybody else, saying that that roof, approximately 130 to 150 yards away from the stage, was outside the Secret Service's perimeter that they were responsible for protecting, and that it was the responsibility of the local law enforcement to secure all of those locations outside of the Secret Service's direct perimeter. The Butler City Police sole duty was traffic. If the maximum effective range of an average 223 round is 400 to 600 yards, that seems really obvious that you should be looking in that radius for any potential threat. How all of that got in there within 150 yards of the former president of the United States and possible future president of the United States will continue to baffle me for decades to come.
But don't worry, Google is going to suppress it, just
Oh, yeah.
like they're going to suppress this video. Hi, Google! Just a reminder that there is absolutely nothing in this video that is against YouTube guidelines. Please stop marking our videos as ineligible for monetization and forcing a manual review right before it goes live. Thank you.
Matt, I believe you made me do a Ricochet round twice in a row because you were upset at how I circumvented your rules.
Bitter.
Even though it was totally within the parameters that you set. But I think it's your turn for a Ricochet round.
This Ricochet round question is gonna be kind of geared towards actual future content for the channel.
Okay.
Because I'm getting the itch.
There's some topical medications for that.
Not this itch. There's only one cure for this itch, and it's not more cowbell. It's the purchasing of a new firearm. Now,
Okay.
I know that we have talked about once we hit 10,000 subscribers, I'm going to do everything in my power to get a hold of an M240S. You know, the M240 Bravo, just the civilian variant.
Is that not the M249?
That was the original plan, but then Ohio Ordnance came out with the M240S, which is chambered in .308. It is my favorite LMG of all time. Unfortunately, it costs $15,000 instead of $10,000. Next gun I get that I spend my own hard-earned money. Rifle or handgun. I don't know what the rifle will be, but it would most likely be something more along the lines of a precision rifle, whereas the handgun is going to be a 2011.
A staccato? It's a nice gun. I like the idea of a 2011, but I think it would be really fun to have a higher caliber bolt action precision rifle to mess with on the channel.
Let us know down in the comment section what you all think, because by the time I actually end up buying this gun, there will have been plenty of time.
Oh yeah, we'll have lots of suggestions.
I'm really torn, and honestly, the precision rifle would probably be cheaper. Let's do some good news. Can you please give me some good news? Can we please talk about how the ATF is totally getting owned by SCOTUS?
We can. The
Okay,
ATF
thank you.
is absolutely getting REKT wrecked by the Supreme Court, and
You are such a zoomer.
makes me so happy. There are 3 big reversals in terms of the guns themselves that I'm very excited about.
And the left is losing their minds over it, which makes it all the more sweet.
I'm also very excited about these because of what it may mean and has already meant for our channel. So a lot of cool things coming down the pipe, and a lot of freedoms that are being returned as a result of one specific ruling that makes me extra happy. And I know this is old news now, but That is the reversal of Chevron Deference. As I said at the beginning of this episode, adios and good riddance. What a joke Chevron Deference was. That an executive branch portion of the government was able to also be the legislative and judicial branches of the government, because that follows along with the checks and balances of our system. How the ATF was able to interpret laws
that are nebulous
at their own free will and then enforce them as they see fit seems in and of itself like a constitutional violation and, might I say, dictatorial.
We'll have a link down in the description to a sort of Chevron Deference for dummies and the challenge that just resulted in it being overturned. It was essentially a group of fishermen. The fishermen got so fed up with the BS rules, that the same kind of thing that the ATF has passed against us. I think it was the EPA that was passing rules against like boat motors or something. Again, I'm not too well versed on it, but these they had enough of it and they're like, stop. We're challenging Chevron Deference, and it got destroyed. And of course, the left is all upset because this is just going to put the power in the hands of the corporations. Well, I'd rather it be in the hands of the people that give me stuff than the people that take my money.
You know what they say: give a man a fish, feed him for a day, teach a man to fish, abolish the ATF.
No one says that.
Hand in hand with the reversal of Chevron Deference came three very important reversals: that of bump stocks, forced reset triggers, and pistol braces.
I've got my pistol braces back.
It's a good thing that you had some accessories added onto your firearms that make them more accurate, because you wouldn't want to miss the thing you're aiming for.
No, and that's the whole thing. If I guess I'm going to be a little serious here, and that's the whole thing about stabilizing braces. They're intended to strap first off to your forearm. They can't tell you that it's illegal to not use it in any other way, as long as you're acknowledging the fact that it's intended to be strapped to your forearm. But I'm sorry, for a device that makes a firearm more accurate and safer in this world, I feel like we should be embracing I feel like we should be embracing that technology, those attachments. But oh, no. It makes it a strange, unusual bullshit. It's still a pistol. You yourself said it's a pistol. It is not, by definition, it is not a stock. Just like a binary trigger is not a machine gun trigger, nor is a forced reset trigger, because it still requires you to pull it multiple times. Mm-hmm. A bump stock has nothing to do with the trigger. That all goes back to the whole thing we were talking about, Chevron Deference. The whole idea that the government could take nebulous terms and rework them, that it was all made possible because of Chevron Deference. It has been a really good time seeing the ATF get punched and sucker punched time and time again. It is glorious. And honestly, just the SCOTUS in general, just delivering blow after blow. And those couple times when it was unanimous, like, no, you don't get to do that. It feels so good. And with that, Aaron, I think we're going to go into the last shot. And I know that this is more of a bullet-inspired theme, but I have a little bit of bourbon left here. So my last shot. We've talked in the past about echo chambers and getting too bogged down in your own worldview and people that have only your worldview. And that creates what's known as an echo chamber. And it creates an inbred idea, an inbred intellect. You don't grow, you don't see the world for what it is. Try to be objective. But more importantly, you need to take a stand. We're not talking about being violent. My gosh, be peaceful. We're not talking about the mostly peaceful protests here. At the very minimum, be sure to vote this coming election. Vote with your conscience, but also vote for what you in your heart know as what will be best for this country. Given the larger picture, you have to keep your head out of the sand. Not only escape from your echo chamber, but also don't just get so busy with your everyday life, your work, your family. Family is the most important thing, but don't get so tunnel visioned by everything in your own personal life that you forget the world around you, because you may wake up one day and see that the world is on fire, and you will ask yourself, how did you let this happen?
It's up to you to escape from that echo chamber and improve as a person. How fit do you want your brain to be? Or do you just want to be seen as the person who's followed the line and done everything that they're supposed to do, and it said everything that they're supposed to say, and they never strayed from the path. They never ruffled any feathers. Don't be that person.
Absolutely.
Don't be that person.
Thank you, Aaron. And I think that is all we have for you. I'm actually going to pull a grand thumb here with a final thought. If you are a person that reads, go read Brave New World. Go read 1984. If you're a person that likes to consume content but isn't the biggest reader, seminary kind of ruined me for that. Audiobooks.
I'd highly recommend Fahrenheit 451 as well, along those lines.
Okay. But Brave New World, it's terrifying how close we're getting. But that's going to conclude this episode of Bullet Points. Subscribe to the Phantom Llama's Den, especially if you've made it to this point in the video. You are one of the elite troopers for the PLD Den members. We have some absolutely incredible stuff coming in the next couple months. Some amazing, I like to think of it as amazing ranged content coming from out at Llama Ranch. We're going to be doing a lot more ballistic science stuff. We've got one that's going to be kind of edgy, and it could get demonetized depending on how graphic it gets, but I'm here for it. Anyway, we'll see you next week in our video. And yeah, I'm just going to roll the outro. That's going to do it for this episode of Bullet Points, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing to the Phantom Llama's Den. Go check us out on X and phantomllamasden.com. Go follow us on Twitch, where we get really out of hand on the weekends. As always, don't take life too seriously.
And make it a great day.